Okay, ladies, today I'm going to take you through my top 5 glute exercises for maximum glute growth. Let's do it. Okay, the first exercise is Romanian deadlifts. As you can see here, Alicia's hinging down through the hips, pausing at the full range. What you don't want to do is go too deep where you start rounding your lower back. So go really deep for me for 1 rep. Keep going, keep going. See the rounding here? Come back up. You don't want to do that because you're taking it away from the glutes and hamstrings and you're lengthening through the lower back. So some technique cues is you want to be driving your hips backwards and get into the full stretch of your hamstrings. Another tip is you don't want to have all your weight on your heels like you're falling backwards. You want to have most of your weight in the middle of your feet, 50-50 between your heels and your toes. I want you to pause at the bottom where you come to that right there, back up, squeeze the glutes. Another tip, I don't want you to come all the way up and drive your hips forward at the top. So come up. Some people are going to squeeze their glutes and drive their hips forward. You don't need to do that. Most of the work is done on this exercise in the stretched position. Okay, exercise number 2 is a barbell hip thrust or any form of hip thrusting. The difference between doing a Romanian deadlift and a hip thrust is on the Romanian deadlift, the hardest portion of the movement is in the stretch position. On a hip thrust, it's the opposite. It's the contracting, it's the shortening of the muscles, which is the hardest position. That's why I like to do it after. So 1 lengthening position, 1 shortening position. Some tips for these is you want to make sure your feet are directly under your knees. Another tip is you can see Alicia's chin is tucked, her ribs are down, and she's driving up using her hips. So we're going to talk about some common mistakes with hip thrust because I see a lot of this around general population at the gym. So the first mistake is probably having the feet too close. And then I've got clients and girls saying to me, I can feel my quads a lot when I hip thrust. If your feet are this close, drive your hips up now. See how the knees are going forward. You're actually getting a lot of quad work. Right now your quads are on, right? And this is a lot of quad work. So let's come back down. To fix that mistake, you just want to make sure your feet are a bit further forward. Now when you come up, come away to the top, even there, if you can feel your quads there, I want you to bring your feet forward a little bit more. Next mistake, arching at the lower back. See that? See that arch here? And the head going all the way back and arching. Come back down, do that one more, really bad technique. Okay, come down. See, with this, you actually see this a lot when girls try to go really heavy or they think that they have to go as far up to get full range. The problem is here is the lower backs actually end up getting taken, the lower back gets taken out of the movement, and by super arching the back, all that weight is hinging onto the discs and the muscles in your lower back, which they're not designed for that. So to fix this, really simple, is as you come up, you want to think ribs down, abs on, head forward. And you actually want to keep your ribs down and your abs on the whole time when you hip thrust. So when my abs are on and my ribs are down, I can't flex at my lower back. I can't extend at my lower back. Okay, exercise number 3, reverse lunge on the Smith machine. We also have some padding here or a step, or you can even use like a 20 kilo plate, just so we get a bit of a deficit on the step back. One thing you'll notice is we're doing this slow and controlled. This is the glute that's working. We want to make sure that the front leg is not going, the knee's not going forward on the front leg. We don't want to be working a lot of quads on this. We want to make this glute focused. We're driving back through the hip, going slow on the way down. Yep. This glute's getting lengthened on the way down. We're contracting at the bottom, squeezing, and we're just tapping the foot here. Another tip is when you come up here, don't put this foot all the way down and lock this leg out the other way, opposite. Don't do that because it turns the glute off. Keep the knee soft, keeps the glute on the whole time. Do one more. Perfect. Exercise number 4, glute focused 45-degree back extension. Now let's start. Okay, you'll see some people on the machine doing this with just most of their lower back, and you can do that because it's quite lightweight. But if you want to focus on growing your glutes, I want you to try using this technique. So as you can see, Alicia here is smashing the technique perfect. She's got her elbows at the front. She's rounding this part of her back, rounding this part, taking the muscles out of it. And then she's hinging from her hips, pausing there and then coming up through her glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, come back down. So we want to be lengthening from the hamstrings, lengthening from the glutes. Another tip, I don't want you to come so far up that you do this at the top, just like on hip thrust. So let's do a bad technique. you don't want to be coming up and going like that. You're actually taking the glutes completely out of it. And even if you stay here and just arch, now you're gonna feel your lower back hurting. So round here, abs on, ribs down, good. Come from the glutes, come up from the glutes. One more, as you can see, Alicia's shaking. It gets really hard very quickly. Done. Okay, exercise number 5, cable hip abduction, superset with hip extension, or side kicks, superset with kickbacks. We're starting with the hip abduction, or an easy way to remember it is just kicking your leg out to the side. We're actually working in the muscle that's in the side of the glutes here, called the glute medius. This is what's going to give you that BBL looking glutes once you've filled the back of your glute max. This is really isolating that muscle. And as you can see, Alicia's got the burn face right now because this glute is also working to stabilize and this glute is working to actually do the exercise. Once you've done close to failure on your side kicks, hip abduction, we're going to superset with hip extension or kick backs. So get this leg and bring it to the normal spot and you're going to be leaning forward and kicking back. Good. So you'll be stronger in your kick back because you're utilizing your glute max and your side glutes for this. So do the side kick first and then do your hip extension or your kick backs. And as you can see, some tips here, Alicia's not moving much from this bit. This area is all stuck here and the movement is coming from the hip. So the glutes are doing the work here. So as you can see, these are my 5 favorite glute growth exercises. If you want to know more about sets and reps and a structured program over weeks up to a month, we have a personalized meal plan and personalized workout program service. We'll have a link in the bio for that. You'll get a new program and a new meal plan every month, and it's very affordable and you'll absolutely love it. I would absolutely love it if you guys could put some feedback in the comments of what you want to see in the next video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, share this to your social media and tag us in it at BootyByJacks. Thanks for watching.